9. Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Welcome to the Alien Probe Podcast. Today we'll be studying the report on unidentified flying objects, Chapter 14 of Edward Ruppelts' book, or Rupp, as I discovered his nickname was today. Joining me today, me and my alternate personalities, Dr. Bill. How's it going? World Traveler, Dr. Bill, by the way.
Yes, World Traveler. Your alternate egos.
All of my alternate personalities are here with me.
Oh, yeah.
So,
let's get rid of this.
No worries. Everything's fine, everyone.
Yeah, and I've been gone for 10 days, and I've forgotten how to use my computer. Hang on. That should be okay.
Yeah.
It looks like everything is going. All right.
Everything running properly.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll find out if magic will happen or it will explode.
Or if we get or if we could go like the last time we did this.
Oh yeah,
when everything imploded, but we were able to.
Totally.
Well, you weren't here last week for the.
No. I was there 2 weeks ago. Your computer imploded.
Yep, mine.
And then it took a long time, but I can. It took a long time to get it restarted, but it was fine. It worked. We were good.
It seemed to thread together pretty well. For those out there that listened to Chapter 13, it was actually 12. That was 12. We're on 14 now.
Yeah. So
how's 2, episode 14?
So how'd last week go? I listened to it a little bit. I didn't listen to the whole show.
Last week was good. Deb and I did weird laws and weird things from around the world that countries do to discipline keep their citizens in line.
Sort of.
Yes. It's funny because they're not outdated. Well, they're outdated, but they're not. They're outdated, but they're still in effect.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, you can.
So they're really weird.
There's always laws like that. I'm sure that we have many of them, such as marijuana laws, which are, what's going on with that? Well,
what do you think about the marijuana laws? Do you think
I don't care.
It's not legal. It's not legal in Florida, right?
Medical marijuana. So you got to go. You got to.
Well, here you walk. Yeah, but here you walk in like you're going to the drugstore. Well, not even drugstore. You go to like convenience store, and you go in and you can buy it. I mean, you don't need anything.
Well, here it's like you just get a medical card. I mean, I don't know how it works. It's like. Uh-oh.
Oh, no, the cat's out.
Yeah, he's been a major baby cat when I've been gone. He's been a pest all this morning because I was like, you've been gone for a week, so you have to pet me until I tell you to stop.
That's right. Continue to pet me. They're so demanding.
Yes.
All animals, all pets are.
Yes, pet me until I tell you to stop. Now he's bringing a toy. Oh, my God.
Yeah. You better play with the cat, Bill.
I'm going to put him out. Oh, he's such a pest. Hey, entertain people. I got to put him in the... Okay. Shut the door. Hang on.
So today, we're talking about Chapter 40. We're listening to Bill in the background with this corralling the cat and keeping it under control. So we're discussing Chapter 14 called Digesting the Data with Ed Ruppelt. So we're as he continues his escapades into Project Blue Book land and doing his investigations and leading us down what think it would be called a rabbit hole.
I'm back.
You're back. How'd it go with the cat?
Good. He's looking at me through the door and upset.
Do you only have one cat?
Got two. One of them's very nice, and this one's very demanding. So
yeah.
he's like, "You've been pet me. So I demand that you pet me." So anyway,
before we get started, hey, yep. I got 3 more books. I got 3 more books.
Uh-oh. Should I take notes? I don't have a notepad.
No, you shouldn't take notes.
All right. What do you got? What'd you get?
Secrets of the Unified Field And I'm not sure. Did you ask me to get that? I don't
No,
know if it just popped up.
I don't.
This one's about the I know you're aware of the Philadelphia experiment.
Oh, yeah, I got that. I got
Do
that
you have
book.
this one?
No, I don't have that one, but I got. Where is
And the
it?
Nazi Bell. That
The
one.
the Nazi Bell one I read. I read a long time ago. Is that the one about the book that you got now is about the Nazi Bell?
Yeah, it is the Bell, and then
Yeah,
it's about the unified field where they can move
yeah.
objects through space and time.
I read that. I actually read that recently. I think I read that about 5 years ago. Just for general interest. What else did you get?
Your memory is a lot better than mine if you can
Well,
remember many things from 5 years ago. The
who am I?
Roswell incident, which was, I think, a request by you for me to get.
Yes, I got that. I actually I read that while I was on my trip.
How was that?
It's not bad. It's a fairly quick read, and based on everything else that we've been looking at, and sort of I kept finding myself reading it and going, "Oh, interesting." One of the things that I got out of it, do you know there was 2 crash sites?
I think so. Yeah, well, both in New Mexico, or was it Texas?
Yeah. I didn't know that. It's like there's a debris site, and then supposedly there was a site where the saucer actually landed.
Well, it skipped.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Real close.
I don't know. I mean, it's. I'd have to look at the book in some detail, but that's something I got out of it. Generally, I think it was a good sort of introduction to the Roswell thing, and of course, I have that other book, which is Witness to Roswell, which is a newer book that's supposed to summarize all the stuff subsequently from that book from 1980 to whenever this was published in the 90s. And then I also got the Philadelphia Experiment by also by Moore, who wrote the Roswell incident. I just started reading that. I think I've read it.
Is this the actual book like that the movie was made from, or is this
know.
a factual? Is this more of a factual?
This is a
documentary type thing.
The Philadelphia Experiment is equivalent type of book to the Roswell incident that Moore wrote. So they're trying to research and document what happened and talk to witnesses. It's the same thing. Yeah, I just started looking at it this morning, and I put it down because it was,
Are we thinking that the Eldridge actually disappeared and went to a different?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I think it's. I think it's supposedly
the Eldridge being a naval
Navy destroyer escort. Supposedly, it's theoretically possible. Is one of the things, and it's. I think it's something they talk about. I was flipping through the book, and it has a picture of Einstein with some Navy officers. So it's theoretically, supposedly, it's possible that you can make something invisible. So I mean,
well, that wasn't what they were going for. I mean, we can talk about
it. Was this. Well, the book that was supposed to be an invisibility experiment, and the ship. What they're saying apparently is the ship went invisible, but it also teleported to Norfolk, Virginia, and then came back. And that's like in the movie, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, the movie was a time travel. I loved the movie when it came out.
The movie was awesome.
I think it's dated now. I think I tried to watch it again. I'll try again. Sometimes it just depends on your mood whether or not a movie appears too dated.
It's kind of weird. But what they were trying to do was make it stealth. I mean, like we have now, where you can't see the ship on radar. Not necessarily to make. I don't know if they were going for actual invisibility on purpose, but I think that's what they made it invisible to radar. They actually made it invisible, but then they also made it move. I mean, we don't need to go through the whole. I mean, this will be a subject for a future. Episode. But it actually became invisible, teleported to the future, and then back. But people were embedded in this ship because it was semi-solid as it did. I don't know if that really happened, but
that sort of became like a movie trope too, with teleportation and stuff. People getting embedded and stuff. But it's I want to come back to that. I'm pretty sure I read this book in the 1980s. So, and I love.
Wow.
Yeah. and we'll come back to it. I'm not sure it's the same one I read, but we'll know. I won't be able to tell till I've read it, and I'll go, oh yeah, I did read this. It's going to take a little bit. It's been a long time.
And the last book I got, this week, Uninvited Guests. It's
yeah, I got that right here.
That's another one that we're going to be going over.
Yeah, this one.
I want us to still be, rather than a book review, actual discussing of what's going on. But what is going on? Is there anything new? I did watch the Von Daniken clip or piece you sent, the piece you sent me about Russian Russian Roswell.
But yeah, that was like 5 minutes of that, and so you mentioned it on I caught your few minutes of your show from last week, and you mentioned I was trying to get in touch with Von Daniken.
Did you actually get a response?
Well, he didn't respond. I didn't try it probably as hard as I could. There was another email, another phone number. I could have tried a little harder, but I did send I sent an email when I was there. I threw a bunch of credentials at him, but I have a feeling it's more of a generic email address, and they might not see it for a while. And it wasn't planned very well, and I wasn't sure that I was going to be able to make it to Switzerland because of the COVID thing, with things changing and different stuff.
How did that go? Did you have any hiccups, or did you just move right along?
Nobody asked me for my vaccination status, which I was really shocked at, and was nothing. I flew into Amsterdam. They just said, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going to Switzerland." "How long are you going to be there?" And I said, "I'm going to be there a week." And they said they stamped my passport, and I was on my way. Caught my flight to Switzerland on I want to say KLM Airlines. MLK Airlines. It's KLM Airlines.
KLM.
Oh, and this was great. I'm on the plane, and we're sitting at the gate, and the pilot comes out, and it's what country is it? Amsterdam is. It's terrible. I'm a terrible.
Is it Sweden?
No. It's. I want to say Norwegian. It's Norwegian. So the pilot comes out, and well, first they say you can't take videos or pictures of the crew or the passengers because of privacy laws. And then the pilot comes out, and
he said that.
Yeah,
you can't take any
up front. Yeah, I guess it's in the EU. This privacy laws. You cannot take pictures of passengers or crew on an aircraft without permission. So you can take pictures, but you have to ask permission first. So then the pilot comes out, and he makes this very sincere apology for like 5 minutes that the plane is going to be 10 minutes late into Zurich.
Wow.
I mean, this guy just went on. And I'm sitting here going, God, and they just said we can't record it, and I would love to record this. I mean, the guy, very sincere, and I was worried about the guy after he got done apologizing. It's like, buddy, are you okay? Are you going to be okay? It's okay. Wow. It's only 10 minutes. But it was so sincere, and the guy was just like, I'm so sorry. We're going to be 10 minutes late. 10 minutes? Dude,
yeah,
I've sat on an airplane in the airport with a kid getting sick for like 2 hours once. And that Midway Airport. Oh my God. So it was a good trip. Von Daniken, Eric, if you hear me, check your email.
I'm sure he's listening.
Yes,
Eric.
Check.
And we're pleading with you. We need to talk to you, Eric.
Check your email.
Of the gods.
Check your
Those
email.
of you out there that don't know who Eric Von Daniken is, and all of you should if you're listening to this.
This is
Chariots of the Gods.
Oh, this
series.
This is funny. Oh, this is great because when I'm there, so my host is I was staying with a friend that I knew from grad school, and I will call her Dr. Annette. And she was, she's like, oh, I know who he was. And I said, well, I'm going to email him. I'm going to try and get I want to interview him. And she's like, I want to be in on this. She's like, I want to go too. So then she would like ask, so she would ask her kids, and they're like, oh, you don't know who this is. And then,
Yeah.
so it's like, it's a generational thing. It's like the younger, and these kids are in their 20s. They don't know this. I mean, but we grew up with this stuff.
Yeah.
So she remembers it from when she grew up there because he's Swiss. So anyway, no Van Daniken interview, which is sad, but who knows? May happen in the future. He's 86. Next time,
not too bad.
Yeah, next time if I get to go to Switzerland again, what I'll do is I'll try to do earlier contact. But I didn't know what the travel situation was going to be like. It's harder to come back than to go. So,
what was your first science fiction? Not science fiction. Your first UFO style book that you read? Do you remember? Was it Chariots of the Gods, or was there?
No,
who knows if there was another?
No, it would be. I can't get up and look at the bookshelf because I don't think
I think it's.
It's the UFO stuff would be the old Frank Edwards books, Stranger Than Fiction, Stranger.
Yeah.
And those I think were they were at my grandparents' house. And they just had this bookshelf. They didn't have a lot of books, but they had a bookshelf with some of these books. And I think I borrowed them and just kept them from my grandparents, like one of them or two of them. And then there was a book that I still have that I bought when we were in grade school at Redwood.
Right.
That I think talks about that. I can't get up and grab it, but it was through the Scholastic Book Service. And
where we get to buy books.
Yeah,
they give you that list of books. Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
those are. And I would always pick the weird, stranger, those types of books if they had them.
Yeah, well, I got
on the list.
I got a weird one, and it if I can grab it, I got a weird one, and nobody knew what it was, and people saw it once I bought it. Yeah, I think you were there, and
most likely.
And then the people are like, "How did you know to pick it out?" And I just sort of like picked it because it had a weird cover. Let me see if I can grab it. I'm here.
Are you there?
I'm here.
You're in the library. You're there in the library.
The library is next to the desk, but I got to stand up and look. Hang on.
So here we are with the book review portion of the Alien Pro podcast.
We're all about the books now.
Well, I think it's important that everybody knows where the history of, not the history, but some of the books that affected what we're doing today. I'll throw this out there while you're doing that. One of the first ones I read was called The Hollow Earth. I don't know if you even read that one. It was the
I don't
theory.
Think so.
It was the theory that I don't know how I came across that one. It wasn't the Scholastic book, but it states that the in the North and the South Pole, and this is something that's also recently discussed, that the UFOs come out of the Earth, that the Earth is hollow, and that they're coming out in the North and the South Pole. Now, with global warming and all the glaciers falling into the ocean today, I don't know if it's going to expose any of the entrances to hollow Earth.
Entrances. Yes.
But they said that, and I've read recently that, Richard Byrd was up, I don't know, remember with Antarctic, or where did he go? I think it was North Pole. And he discovered that there was some warm water plants and things coming out of, these entrances. And I don't know exactly what, there's been many things, like they say that the Nazis were trying to make bases up there, or did.
Have you seen the movie Iron Sky?
No, I haven't seen that.
I think it was on Netflix or Prime, but it's the Nazis on the dark side of the moon and the secret world under Antarctica. It's a little hokey, but it's like independent filmmakers made it or something like that. It's not bad. So if you, it was on a
great premise.
Yeah, it was on I think Amazon Prime, which I'm sure you have. Everybody has Amazon Prime now.
That's right.
It was on Amazon Prime. You can just go in there and watch it.
Iron Sky. Huh? Check that out.
Yeah. Well, I pulled down. So one of the books that I'd gotten, I got rid of because it was like, oh, I don't need this anymore. But the books that influenced me was, strangely enough, by C.B. Colby.
Oh yeah, that was a series also, right?
I don't know. I mean,
I think it was also a series.
This is abridged, and it's got a weird cover. It's like a weird, I don't know, lunar landscape with like a thing with a giant eye on it. It's got a bizarre cover.
That's the one. Yeah, I had that one too. I think
so. It's got a bunch of stuff in it. Doesn't have.
Yeah, it's got shorts. It's got shorts. Is that
really short stuff.
Yeah,
they're like 1 or 2 pages. Great for a kid.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is that the one with the eye on the cover?
Yeah. But I don't see any UFO stuff. There might be one. And then the other ones, which I just pulled down, is Stranger Than Science by Frank Edwards, author of Flying Saucer Serious Business, which I haven't read. And this has the same thing. It's all sorts of... God, these things are so cool.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Ooh, I think I caught COVID when I was in Europe. Yeah, this is a bunch of stuff. I'm not seeing a lot of UFO stuff. No UFO. And then the other one was these two I got. This one I know I got from my grandparents, which is Strangest of All by Frank Edwards.
Why did your grandparents have this? Did your grandfather see an interest?
No, my grandmother had some science fiction books, and then a few of these things. I actually got a first edition Heinlein Farmer in the Sky from her that was pretty beat to crap, and I just sold it on eBay for like $100.
No way.
Yeah, it was. I was cleaning books out, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna just let it. And I did an auction. I go, I'm just gonna get rid of this. I've read it. It's beat up. It was a first, and somebody gave me like $100 for it.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, I'm like, oh,
that's pretty incredible.
Crap. Yeah,
$100.
Yeah, I'd have to go back. It might have been less. It might have been $50 or $70. I don't remember, but it was more money than I thought I would get. So anyway, yeah, that got me into those books. Got me into the sort of thinking about weird and strange things. UFO, I don't know. It's hard to.
Yeah, I mean,
hard to say. UFO.
Seriously though, Chariots of the Gods was the first one that I actually. Montanica did a good job because he roped me in, and that's probably his fault that I'm involved in this to the extent that I am today.
That might be true. Might be true for me, but then I have a massive science education, which sort of erased all that curiosity.
Yeah, all the fun stuff is gone.
It's gone until like January. I go, okay, my friend Doug is doing a podcast. I think I'll take a look. I think I'll take a look at an old book and see what I think. And then it's like, holy crap. This stuff is pretty good. There's something here. So,
although, as we move into chapter 14 of Ed Ruppelts' book, it's more. Yeah, it was more. I'm hoping the last 3 chapters. You've read through the whole thing. Are we going to get any epiphanies of things in the end that's going to?
I'm not sure.
Really shake the world.
Oh, the radiation story is the next chapter. Radiation story
the next one.
Is interesting. Hierarchy Ponders. I don't know what's going on with that. Oh, yeah. Hierarchy Ponders. Yeah. It'll be the Robertson panel. That'll be interesting. Hynek was there and some other bigwigs. Where do we go from there? What are UFOs is 17, and I guess that's his speculation. But the last 3, like I said, are the walk back. And I even saw that with Luis Elizondo's UFO series that was on whatever. I watched them all. The second season, the last 2 or 3 episodes, they did the walk back, the UFO walk back.
Right.
Which is, so they do all this speculation, and then the second season, the last 2 seasons, this guy comes out and says, well, a lot of the weird stuff that they were seeing on the radar was just radar spoofing from countermeasures. And it's
Really?
like, and it's the last 2 episodes. And so it's like, it was the walk back. And I'm not sure why they did that. So it was like that other show, the J.J. Abrams UFO one, where they threw in the 3rd episode was the disinformation episode, where they sort of throw that out, where it's to hide the super secret projects. Well, and the super secret projects in the 80s was the stealth thing. But like I said, it's like, I don't know. Who didn't know about the stealth program?
Yeah. Wasn't that secret?
No, everybody knew about it. They just didn't know what the plane looked like. So, I don't know. There's some crazy, weird stuff. And, UFO stuff is, I don't know. People, it's hard to sort out the facts from the, people trying to make a buck. So
yeah, and now things aren't really so super secret. It seems. I saw something on YouTube this week that was really fascinating. Maybe it wasn't that interesting, but it did to me. I mean, there was a refueling drone. I don't know if you saw it. That we've developed.
Oh yeah,
it's a big drone that was refueling a Raptor on YouTube.
Yeah.
I was fascinated by that. I mean, it's a pilotless plane. I mean, maybe there's a pilot in there just kind of, but it's full of fuel.
Yeah,
and they were refueling this Raptor. They did and then they explained exactly. They did a bunch of dry runs, where they didn't really put fuel in, and then they went in and fueled this thing. I mean, it was. Today we're doing much. It's like we don't want to risk the lives of or. It's like, we don't want pilots and things.
Yeah,
we got a whole crew.
Well, and they're doing the drone stuff, like they just in Kabul, where they're like blowing up civilians. Well, they just did
today.
This was like last week or something. Before I left, they blew up, a bunch of civilians for fun, I guess.
What's going to happen in Afghanistan, Bill?
I don't know.
What was the same thing that was happening between the Soviets and then us later?
Yeah. I hope we're
and then accomplishing nothing or things that we don't know of.
Yeah. Well, they're going to have to sort their own mess out. I don't know. I've come to the total conclusion that our leaders are very, very stupid people. And you're seeing that demonstrated over and over and over. They're ignorant. They're stupid. I mean, they all come from these top schools, but they obviously don't have any education or any sort of sense or feeling or whatever. I mean, they're total disconnected from reality. And I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, they're clueless. They're just absolutely clueless. So should we talk about Fireball that I saw in Switzerland?
Yeah, let's talk about the fun. Now that was fascinating.
Oh yeah, that was wild. So I'm in Switzerland. I'm at my friend's house, and the sun was setting. And Dr. Annette's house is it's on Lake Zurich. So Lake Zurich, the hills around Lake Zurich form a nice slope. So basically, every house has a view of the lake, right?
That's awesome. I saw that picture. That is an awesome view.
Yeah, but I mean that view, it's like every house up and down Lake Zurich has a great view. I mean, it's like you couldn't design it better if you did it on purpose. So we're sitting sitting on her porch, little deck porch, and the sun was going down, and it's like you had dinner and just sitting down, you're having a cup of coffee or something, and I'm looking at the lake, and there's this ferry boat. So Lake Zurich has a ferry service which runs down the lake and then up the lake, so commuter ferry service. And then it also has, just south of where she lives, there's ferry boats that go, car ferries that go back and forth, because there isn't a bridge and the ferry ride is 10 minutes. So the lake is sort of oblong, so it makes sense to have a ferry thing in the middle just to get people to, get across so you don't have to drive around for 35 minutes.
Yeah.
And
Does it carry cars? Is it one of
Yeah,
the
yeah. They have two
carries
car
cars?
ferries, and then that's the car ferries which just go back and forth, and then they have the commuter ferries which go, down and make a bunch of stops one side of the lake, and then go up and make a bunch of stops on the other side of the lake. So, um, we're sitting up there looking at the lake, and there's this ferry boat just stopped in the middle of the lake, and the lake. I mean, this is probably. I don't know. I should have measured the distance. I'm going to say it's 3 to 5 miles away. And so we're sitting up there, and this ferry boat is stopped, and I'm looking at it, and I go, "Why is that ferry boat just sitting there?"
Is this during the night? Or
This
is
is
it
just
during
at
day?
sunset. This is at sunset,
Okay.
and then and then I noticed there was smoke coming off the back of the ferry boat.
No.
Yeah, and I think that's I go to her. I think the ferry boat's on fire. So I run down, and I have my binoculars, which I now carry, my UFO binoculars, which I now carry wherever I go. And
Very nice.
yes, excellent. And so we're watching. So I got my binoculars, looking at the boat, and on the front of the ferry boat, it's like there's 50 or 100 people or something in life jackets.
Oh, how nice.
Yeah, and I think there's a ferry disaster occurring on the lake. And then this other ferry boat is coming up, and I go, oh, and then there was these little police boats all around it, like 4 or 5 police boats showed up, and there's a helicopter out there, sort of, going around. And then this other ferry boat comes up, and I go, I think that's the rescue boat to get the passengers off. And the rescue boat slowly pulls up, and finally docks, and then they take forever to offload the passengers. And I'm sitting there, going, this thing's going to explode. I mean, we're gonna watch.
Master.
Yeah, I go. It's like we're gonna watch we're gonna watch everybody die here. As it turns out, it wasn't a real disaster. It was a ferry boat disaster drill.
Oh,
which is why
how unfun is that?
Well, I found out. We found out the next morning that it was a drill, but it was going so slow. We're going, this is weird. Why are they going so slow? But then they had one of the car ferries. So they took a long time, and finally offloaded everybody onto the rescue ferry. And that casually went off. And then a car ferry comes out, and the car ferry's got ambulances and fire trucks and firemen. It's like packed with all this stuff. Wow. And the car ferry just comes up and sort of comes close, and so does like a semi dock on the boat that was in trouble, and then the drill was over. But meanwhile, we're sitting there, and there was a fireball, and this was shortly after sunset, and I just happened to look up and catch it, and it looked like an ice cream cone with the pointy cones, or snow cone with the pointy cones on its side, and I just saw it for maybe a second or less, and it was bright white to bright orange to the tail, and the tail was about the same length as the head, the circular head, and then it flared out. It formed like a half umbrella and just flared out, and then it had a couple little streaks on the side. So I asked Dr. Annette what she saw, and she said, she goes, I thought it was a firework because it was green. And she saw it just before I did it. I saw it had like a little tail, and she said that she saw a streaked tail on it that was 10 times its length, which I didn't see. And she said it had a green hue to it when she first saw it. And she like she said, she thought it was a firework, and then it just saw that. So it was just a fascinating thing. It makes me, those UFO reporting forms?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you have your form with you?
No. I'm going to put them on my iPad. I'm actually going to put them. I had my iPad. I'm going to put them on my iPad, and it's like I see something like this. But it was interesting because we were talking about the sizing. So we stood side by side, and we held our hands out. And I said, well, how big was it compared to your fingertip? So I said it was probably about the size of my fingertip, and she says it was about half a fingernail. So size.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it wasn't very big. It happened just for a second or less. She saw it more than I did. It was not quite parallel to the ground. I think it was probably just space debris. debris.
Right.
But the color was she said she saw green, and so we couldn't figure that out. I saw whitish to orange, but then I caught it just at the end, so she had quicker eyes than me. But anyway, that was fun. So I saw a fireball.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's like something
That's
out
pretty awesome.
of these old reports we were looking at. Yeah. I was thinking, they track all this space debris. I bet you if you go in there, you might be able to find I'm not going to do it, but you could probably find a report about it. But came in, burnt up, flared out. Awesome. And
pretty amazing.
And this is a hugely populated area. So I'm like, I wonder how many people saw it. Probably for a second, probably not a lot.
Well, you have to be out there and looking
in the right place, in the right direction, at the right time. Yeah. And we were sort of queued up because we'd been watching this, what we thought was a ferry boat disaster for like the last hour. So we were really queued up for, watching stuff. So when this happened, it was like, caught it right away. Anyway, fun stuff.
I was going to work one morning. I had this crappy job where I had to be there at 3:30 in the morning.
Ugh.
And my neighbor, I have an old neighbor, he's an old Navy guy, he goes, what time you got to be at work? I go, 3:30. He goes, that's not morning, that's the middle of the night. I go, yeah, it is the middle of the night. I hated hearing that alarm go off at 3 o'clock. I just jump in my clothes and go. Luckily, I was only like 10 minutes from work, but I was driving down, we had this Bass Lake Road that went directly to the store I was working at. And a flash lighted up the whole sky, scared the hell out of me. I don't know what. I don't know. Yeah, I mean the whole sky. And it's obviously a meteor. It
could be space
meteorite or
space debris. I think that what we saw was space debris. I think it was just some piece of junk coming in, burnt and flared. You probably saw something.
Well, a lot of
something similar.
Back in the day, people would report this. Back in the 50s, might report that as a UFO because what you saw, what I saw, was just a flash. But what you saw,
well, in the 50s, everyone was keyed up about nuclear war. A flash would have been, a lot of people.
That would have been scary.
A lot of people.
It looked like that. I mean, it was bad. It was crazy.
Yeah, that's
but again, 3:30 in the morning, and I went on the internet and things, and there was nothing.
Yeah,
nobody. Yeah, I apparently was the only one that saw that.
Yeah,
but or cared to even or state it publicly. But it was interesting to say the least.
Yeah, it's hey, cool stuff. Hey, there was something that did come out. And I saw that Elizondo did something with a guy talking about this. And then Chris Leho talked about this too. Chris Leho was talking about Elizondo talking about this. And in the in the new U.S. War Department budget, Section 1652 is the establishment of office to address UFOs. Or unidentified aerial phenomena.
UAPs, yes.
Yeah, did you see that?
No, but I can imagine that.
So
this is something after the last lack of any information. This is probably the next phase.
Yeah, this is the next step. So it's now an official office to address UFOs at the Pentagon. Set it up no later than 180 days. The date of the enactment of this act, the Secretary of War, in coordination with the Director of National Intelligence, shall establish an office within the Office of the Secretary of War to carry out on a department-wide basis the mission currently performed by the UFO Task Force, or the UAP Task Force, as of the date of the enactment of this act.
So it's not is ATIC still around, or is that?
This is, I guess. I think it is, but it says here this is supposed to take over the currently performed by UAPTF. So I don't know if that's ATIC. So they will develop procedures to synchronize and standardize. I just printed out the 2 pages from the War Department's budget proposed budget coming up, or whatever the act.
So they're studying. Then also you've got your
Galileo
that project.
Yeah.
Galileo. We have to mention Galileo. Is there anything new on Galileo?
No.
They're just putting together. They're just kind of in the fledgling early stages of putting together their technology and things,
Yep.
right? They don't have anything yet.
No, what's interesting is I know I just upgraded. I have a program called Mathematica for math. It does other things, but the guy that's company it is, Wolfram, he's on the SAB for Project Galileo. So they're probably going to. I'm assuming they're going to use his program is very sophisticated, and I think they're going to use. He's going to be the consultant for their computational analysis of UFO data, which I thought was very cool. He's a good person to see on that. There was something in here that I thought, okay, so they got to do develop processes and procedures to ensure that such incidents from each military department are reported and incorporated in a centralized repository. So this looks like Project Bluebook is just they're restarting Project Bluebook. Timely and consistent reporting. Evaluate links between adversarial foreign governments or non-state actors. Evaluate the threat. Coordinate with other departments. Coordinate with allies. Annual report requirement. Each report, blah, blah, blah. Analyze the data intelligence received through reports. Analysis of data relating to UFOs collected through geospatial intelligence, signal intelligence, human intelligence, and measurement and signal intelligence. Report the number of reported incidents of UFOs over restricted airspace in the United States. Identification of potential aerospace or other threats posed by UFOs to the national security of the United States. Assessment of any activity regarding UFOs that can be attributed to one or more adversarial foreign governments. Identification of any incident or patterns regarding UFOs that indicate a potential adversary foreign government may have achieved a breakthrough in aerospace capability. An update on the coordination by the United States with allies and partners to track, understand, and address UFOs. An update on any efforts underway on the ability to capture or exploit discovered UFOs. Ooh.
Well, that's a good one.
That's a great one. I'm going to remark that. Assessment of any health-related effects for individuals that have encountered UFOs. The task force, date, secretary, established office, subsection, blah, 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 shall terminate the, no later date, section, I don't know if this is, task force, not later, the secretary shall terminate, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what that means. Oh, I think that's the task force is the thing that was before this. So the task force is being terminated when this starts. And then definitions. Okay, that's about it. And then they say different committees that it has to report to. Armed Services, Foreign Affairs, Permanent Select on Intelligence, and the House of Representatives, Armed Services, Foreign Relations, Select Committee on Intelligence, and the Senate, House and Senate committees paralleled. The term UFO means an airborne object witnessed by a pilot or aircrew member that are not immediately identifiable. Right.
Wow.
Yeah, so Project Bluebook is up and running again as soon as the new Defense Act goes through, defense funding. I was wondering about
it's interesting because I'm listening to that serial. This kind of ties into it a little bit, but
yeah.
That Bergdahl thing. I know you love that story. Where the guy,
you mean the guy that
or whatever he was doing.
Oh God! I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back. I love you. I want to stay in Afghanistan. What? Yeah.
She got about halfway through that and she shit canned it. She's like, I can't listen to it anymore. But what came out of it, I'm listening to it.
Yeah.
And what came out of it is that all the different government agencies don't really talk to each other when it comes to just about anything.
Yes. Yeah, I believe that. Yeah.
I'm hoping that the new thing that just came out you were discussing is going to help tie everyone together a little bit better. I know it won't be perfect, but
it's a start. At least
it's a step in the right direction as to where are we? So we've got this agency, and it's like, so are we going into, because Wright-Patterson is where I think everything is.
Yeah. Oh, and
Are we going to be?
in the
Go ahead.
Roswell book, they actually mention a base in Florida or an airfield where some of the stuff was supposedly taken, and that reminded me of the Jackie Gleason story, with the Nixon Jackie Gleason story.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
anyway, so yeah, you can. It's the whole. This is the thing that just drives me crazy. It's like you start reading this stuff, and it's like, oh, you feel like starting to like little strings and do the weird
Yeah.
chart thing like you see. It's just like it's out of control. It's just so much
Yeah, it's
stuff.
it's from everywhere.
Yeah.
Information is from everywhere. It seems that they can't tie everything together to get an answer for this. But
Yeah.
I mean, really, the bottom line is we don't have the technology to properly do any. Because I said, why don't they just track? I mean, they got radar everywhere. Why can't they just track this thing?
Well,
And
this may lead to that, since they're saying to Section 1652 of the new Defense Authorization Act, 1652 Section C, subsection 2, subsection B, analyze data related to geospatial signals, human and measurements of signal intelligence. So this may get people to sort of like look to recalibrate this information to stop ignoring sort of these anomalies, and they'll start cataloging the anomalies.
so what are we trying to do? I mean, if it's you and I doing this, we're like, okay, well, where did it come from, and where's it going?
And then
And
then capture it.
Yeah, shoot it down.
Then,
No, so
hey, whatever it takes. Whatever it takes.
I mean, I really kind of feel, and as I read through chapter 14, they had one sighting in the U.S. where the thing was 50. They calculated it in these things, so their calculations were it is the 50s. They calculated it to be 50 feet in diameter, which we've all been on. I kind of gauge it by boats. I've had an 18-foot boat. I haven't had a 50-foot boat, but I mean, I can been on things that are about 50 feet long. I'm like, okay, that thing could be manned, or I don't know if a little green man's doing it, but then they said, or I should say gray, and then
little gray man, yes,
little gray men, and then this thing breaks into three pieces. I'm like, okay, so 50 feet divided by 3. I don't think this thing's got, well, unless it's the real sport model of UFOs or UAPs, and then it broke into 3 pieces, and then didn't break, but it separated, I should say, into 3 pieces, and then sped off. And it's weird because, okay, well, that's pretty, I would think, not manned. It's a drone. Seems like it's a drone, and like you had stated before, these things could be millions of years old.
Yeah,
just something that came from another universe because they were looking for life on another planet, kind of like we do.
Yeah,
and I mean, we haven't found the technology that's going to get us there fast enough in our lifetime, I don't think, to find.
And we hadn't even had the concept of the type of technology that you could even or conceptualize the ability to send a probe at sublight speeds, a self-replicating probe at sublight speeds as a research tool, and that's something that I'm sure other civilizations in the galaxy have done. So it's not, so it is a possibility. I mean, it's a probe. It can probably print more probes and little gray men and I mean,
we're really kind of looking at. I mean, everyone who is listening probably wants or is thinking that we're going to see some aliens, but the possibility exists that they're just probes and they're not manned. And,
well, the possibility that you think about the probe, if it can, they're talking about now where they're printing organs using these 3D printers to print, on a matrix cells to create an organ. So this is our state of our technology now, and it's very crude, but you take this ahead, 5,000 years, and you could probably print a person. And then you might even have the technology to be able to program it so that having a probe come into our solar system, it could set up a base on the planet, under the oceans, it'd probably be better on the planet because of the ability to get the raw materials. All it needs to do then is start building stuff. And it could build, it could basically, if not print, it could just clone. You can have cloning chambers, and you program the creatures. And there's the possibility. I think about it might be more effective to sort of grow a probe, like an organic probe, than so you could grow, instead of having like the Mars Pathfinder or something like that, you just print a little person or grow a little person and then fabricate ships for it. So that might be a way that you actually colonize other places. You just send a probe, a small probe, it gets there and it just starts replicating and building things. That may be exactly what happened. So, yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. So the technology, we're only at the point where we can start to, in the last century, where we can even conceptualize these type of technologies. Nobody thought that you could print, organic material, living material into, a functional structure, and AIs and computers and all this stuff.
So we really can't get through the episode without talking about the SpaceX recreational flight.
Yeah. I haven't followed. I just followed it a little bit, but when I was sitting on the, it was funny. I'm sitting on the train. Where was I going? In Zurich. And I was heading to, I don't know where I was going. I might have been going to the airport. And an older person sat sort of like off to one side of me, and they're reading the newspaper, and they're reading an article on SpaceX. And then that person got off the train, and then another person got and sat in the same place and was reading the same article.
Yeah.
So it's a big deal.
It is pretty fascinating. I mean, I think I agree. I'm glad that they did it with, they're putting money, all these rich people. Well, they're not all rich. The girl, one of the girls that's up there is she had cancer. I don't know if you followed the story.
I haven't.
There is a great Netflix.
I'm going to watch it. I know.
Run up to the shot.
Yeah.
And she had cancer, and then she's working in the medical field now.
Uh-huh.
And she got on she's not rich, so I think I don't know. And then they had the Air Force. Well, they had the guy that's kind of the captain of the ship.
Did they pay for this? These people pay for it, or they?
He is. I think he's throwing in money. The
Musk is.
Yes, the guy is like developed. God, when he developed the something to do with the pay. How you pay online or something.
Oh, PayPal or something? Yeah, he's probably...
Something like that. PayPal. Well, probably could have been PayPal. I mean, this guy's loaded.
Okay,
so he probably... So they're trying to put 50... I don't know. I'm throwing this number out. 50 million into child illness research.
So this is like a big fundraising type...
Yeah, it's kind of a big fundraiser, which is, I thought...
Nice.
Freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Not just a bunch of rich people going up into space and so I'm on, and my sister got, and I'll send you it launched from Kennedy near her house.
Oh, okay.
So she went out. I can't wait to go. Yeah, I don't know if there's going to be any, because I'm there in October, but I don't know if there's going to be space shots. But she got some pictures of the space shuttle, which was awesome.
Nice. I saw a shuttle. I think it was a shuttle launch. I don't know what it was. It might have been one. I don't know when they got rid of the shuttle. There was some sort of launch. I was at Disney World, and there was a launch from Kennedy, and you could actually see it from Disney World, which is the middle of the state, and you could see the rocket, going up.
How loud was it?
You couldn't hear it. You couldn't hear it, but you could see it, because it's like I was going to a Lego store with the kid and buying Legos. And,
Lego store, baby.
Yeah, and then
I love Lego.
Yeah, this was a while ago, and then and then it's like you stepped outside and everybody stopped and was looking at the sky. And that's just weird when you walk out and nobody's walking. Because everybody stopped and is looking. You look up and you could see this rocket going up. I seem to remember it might have been the shuttle, but I'm not 100. I don't know when they stopped the shuttle, so I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, it's awesome. And that was 90 miles away. So
that's incredible.
And you could see it. So your sister's right there.
Yeah, she's right across. There's a river down there, and she's right across the river from Kennedy.
Yeah, she can hear it when it takes off.
Yeah, it's pretty phenomenal. I mean, as I said, you're in my dream spot right there.
Yeah, nice.
You know, it doesn't get really cold. I don't really like it. Well, it's kind of like your place. It doesn't really get free.
It gets cold. It gets a little cold here. Not that cold.
I like California. I mean, it's not really. I don't want to whine about it. California is not really. We don't really get freezing weather like they do in Minnesota.
No, it's not anything like that. You just have fires and no water.
We have fires. Yeah. They're about 80% contained up in Tahoe now, so we're getting down to the point where it kind of begs the question: what happened way back in the day when fires broke out? Yeah, I know we're trying to save people's houses and things. Well, why didn't the whole planet burn up?
I don't know. I don't know. It's global warming. It's global warming. I don't know. I mean, things have.
How did it stop without helicopters and 747s?
Oh, we.
Water on it. Why are we turning on it?
I don't remember these problems when we grew up there. So there was there was the Oakland fire that was a big deal.
Oh, the Oakland fire was just ugly.
Yeah,
that was like city, you know.
Yeah.
But it was up in the hills, lakeshore, up that way.
I went up there and I can't remember. I think her house. There was a girl I was dating. She lived in that area. I think their house survived because I just went up to look. I wasn't seeing her anymore at the time, but I went up and saw the look. I think her parent house survived. So, yeah, it's. I don't know. I mean, the drought is really bad. So it's dry. Everything's tender.
They said, "Oh, we're going to have some rain today." They're talking about today getting rain. We got like a. And they're all excited, Here's the measures of rain. It's like 0.0. Here's what we're expecting this week. This middle of the night tonight, 0.04 inches. They're all excited. They said, "Well, it's going to be up in the foot. Really, most of the rain's going to be up in the foothills, and that's where we really need it." Here's our estimate, and it's 0.35 inches. You guys realize how
that's like fog. That's like fog. It's like with fog leaves.
Sometimes I just hate the news, the way they report things.
Oh no, it's people. I don't know what's going on. I just think our education system has failed.
It's failed us.
It's just completely failed us, top to bottom in the U.S. I mean, I was talking with. We're getting way off topic here. I'm talking about talking with my friend in Switzerland about the education system there. We're gone because. I mean, the only reason our universities are competitive anymore is because we bring in so many people from other countries where they get an education.
Yeah.
And otherwise, and that's a horrible thing to say, and it's not true, I'm sure. But it's just hearing about the education system and how it worked in another country. It's just like, and then you look at what the mess it is here. And it is a mess. I don't
absolutely.
know. Yeah. It's just like, come on. And there's no reason for this. Absolutely no reason. It's just madness. Madness. So
madness.
Yes, we really got off topic here.
Yes, we did. But chapter 14, we got to just chapter 14. I mean, it's more of the same. At this point, but they are making some headway with Blue Book. Talking to the microphone here.
Yes, I can hear you.
But they're digesting the data. They're getting a lot more interest in other government. They're tying in more interest in other government agencies to report the phenomenon from around the United States, and they're talking to at least in this episode, the Orient, or I should say Asia.
They talked about the Japanese incident.
Yeah.
Which I was.
So, but a lot of this is, we send up the F-94s and they run away.
Yeah.
And then the F-94 turns around and it chases it, and then.
Yeah, like we're seeing with the Tic Tac and all the craziness with that. Yeah,
it's just exactly the same as what's going on right now. And we're kind of hoping that at some point we're going to, be able, we're just kind of hoping in our lifetime we're going to be able to figure out what these things are. Are they just drones? And the ones that, or do we have any, or do they just, they just can't be caught or shot down?
They're all from the middle, from the Hollow Earth.
They are. Yeah, they're here. They were here.
They're here with the dinosaurs. Check out Iron Sky. They made 2 movies. The second one I think is a little over the top too. One of the things about Chapter 14 is they talked about Operation Mainbrace, which was a huge, like, NATO thing, and it was a demonstration of might against, like, the Soviet Union or something. And apparently there was, I found these, I was looking for these photos, but there was they had a lot of reporters, and the reporters shot apparently some pretty good UFO pictures. And this was a big exercise, and I think it was from, I think the RAF chased some of these UFOs and stuff, but this Operation Mainbrace and some UFOs that were flying around, this carrier group, got the UK and the RAF interested in UFOs, and I think that's the big thing. And that was the beginning of the British UFO Blue Book equivalent. And I was looking I found a while ago, I looked it up. I couldn't find them this morning when I was looking online. And the internet has gotten worse to find things. And it's a lot worse. And there are pictures that they took during Operation Mainbrace, or they called it something else on Wikipedia. But supposedly they were good photos of some UFO that was flying around a carrier group during this huge naval exercise to intimidate the Soviet Union. So,
oh wow,
yeah, and that was mentioned in this chapter, which we've pretty much. That's it. That's my notes. That's my notes.
That's my notes on the chapter.
Yeah. Other than, like you said, there's a Japan thing, which we'll talk about next time. And the radiation story, I think, is really interesting.
Good.
So I didn't talk about the weird UFO guy that started a church in Switzerland, but I'll talk about that next time.
Cool.
Yeah, I didn't want to talk to him. I wanted to talk to Van Daniken. Eric, check your email. Check your email.
Check it,
Eric. Check it, Eric. So anyway.
All right, you about ready to wrap it up?
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
Thanks for listening to the latest episode of the Alien Probe Podcast. We welcome comments, questions, or requests to alienprobepodcast@gmail.com. Visit us on Facebook at alienprobe.net, Twitter at alienprobepod, YouTube. Thank you very much. We have 38,000 listens, no views because, we're not doing views right now, but we will in the future. Thanks to our senior producer, Robert Anthony. Thank you, Dr. Bill, for joining us again.
Yes.
Adding so much to the show. And we will see you next time. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Dirty Harry.
Dirty Harry.
We gotta talk about Dirty Harry, the movie review for Dirty Harry.
Dirty Harry, watching movies in a small town. God, that was our small little town with our little movie theater. So...
Speaking of movies, have you seen the one with Hugh Jackman where he's got that machine that...
Just come out?
It's got a machine. Yeah, we just watched it last weekend.
Was it good?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. It was different.
I'll check it out. I saw it.
It takes place in the future where everything's flooded. I mean, not... there's the water has come up because, of course, of global warming.
Yeah, I'm tired. I'm tired of that. I'm tired of the apocalypse. We've been living in the
world.
Yeah, we've been living in the apocalypse since 1980. They've been telling us the apocalypse is around the corner. And
it's the pandemic. That my state's on fire.
Yeah, well, you're living in the apocalypse.
I am in the apocalypse.
Yeah, Yep.
All right, ready to wrap it up?
Wrap it up.
Anything else goes wrong?
Yep.
Thanks for listening to the latest episode of the Alien Probe Podcast. We welcome comments, questions, or requests to alienprobepodcast@gmail.com. Visit us on Facebook at alienprobe.net, Twitter at alienprobepod. See us, actually listen to us on YouTube, and thank you very much. We've just exceeded 35,000 listens. Thank you. We appreciate it. Keep subscribing. You'll get notified. Eventually, we'll do some video also. So keep tuning in. Thanks very much to our editing and recording to Dr. Bill.
Yeah.
And thanks to our senior producer, Robert Anthony. We'll see you next time. Thanks.
All right.